All right. Today is Tuesday and it's another time to look into the market again. And you're welcome to my YouTube channel once more. And I'm very happy and super excited for your contributions, your comments, your subscription. I thank you guys and I really appreciate. All right. Okay, so let's dive into the analysis for this week because I'm pumped up. I really want to know what the market is going to do before we get into the end of the year. All right. So as usual, we look at our what? Our dollar. All right. So we are here. We are here. All right. Okay. So we've been doing this thing back to back, looking at what the market has for us and what we can get from it. All right. So from the monthly time frame, we're still bullish. This is more like an impulse, a correction, then another impulse to the upside. All right. But for the weekly, let's see what we're getting. Okay, from the weekly, we're seeing more of downside than upside. So this is more of impulse, correction, then another impulse to the upside. Okay, let's look at what the daily is saying. So I'm going to read. Okay, so the daily we're bearish with the daily because of this move. So let me change this to red so we can see it. Change it to red so you can see that we're in a bearish environment around there. Okay, why? Because of this range that was taken out. This range was taken out. So we now have this move that took out this range. So impulse correction, more like we're going to come back to the downside. Now let's look at H4 time frame. Let's see what's happening. Okay, all right. Remember in our last video we said that we're going to engage when we see a counter trend line. So obviously the counter trend line has actually been violated. So this counter trend line has been broken. So we want to see more of the downside. That means the dollar going back to the downside. All right. So we can see maybe the dollar keeps going back to the downside. So we have our what? We could be having our dollar to be weak. So we can go against the dollar with every other single pair like Euro USD and all of that. Remember, we said that the US dollar is going to be weak because of the structure we have from the daily time frame. So USD weak. All right. Counter trend line has been broken as we saw from, yes, counter trend line has been broken. We saw from our previous video. So we see that the US dollar is going to be what? Weak. So let us see how we're going to maximize this information from other pairs. So let's look at Euro USD. Let's see what's playing out. All right, Euro USD. Okay, all right. Okay, so still on our analysis from the previous week, but then let me get it cleaned up so we can get what I was looking at for. All right. So this is our daily time frame, and we could see from this level, we could see that this was the last push to the upside. So we can call it the bullish move. Then we now have a break of structure that took place from this high that was created. We could have called this a normal high. But because this move exceeded this structure, we'll now call it a swing high. All right. Now call it a what? A swing high. So we had this move going to the downside. So this has given us a downward movement. So we now have this last swing going to the downside. Then we have market violated it. So all of these more like an impulse, then correction, then we can now have another impulse going back to the what? To the upside. All right. So we can see very well that we have a counter trend line that is most likely holding. All right. Counter trend line that is most likely holding the market. Okay. So it has not been broken yet for us to see that the market is going to go to the downside. All right. So we have a counter trend line that has not been broken. All right. Okay, so we see we have a lot of confluences. This level, which is the previous swing high, has been violated. Then we now have our counter trend line here. Then we now have our move to the upside. So this is more like impulse correction. Then we have moves going back to the what? To the upside. All right. So we have our new range, which is about this level. Is our new range about that level. So we want to see the market push up more to the what? Upside. Okay. So you can see how I'm looking at the market. So we want to see this market push more to the upside. All right. We don't know the extent to which you can get to, but we have highs here. We have highs here. All right. We have highs here. So we might equally have the market push back to this up, keep going, or we can have a break. So until we have a break of this counter trend line, we are just going to keep buying this market. So let's look at the H4 time frame and see what we are looking at. All right. Okay. So for the H4 time frame, we know we have a range which is from this very point down to this very point. And why the market came back to the downside, it started creating highs, came back down, didn't create any significant low onto this low and created this high. So we can see obviously we have a counter trend line to this level. All right, so we have a counter trend line. And now we can see very well that the counter trend line has been what? Broken by this move. So we should be seeing more pushes to the what? Upside. All right. So USD, Euro USD is going to be a buy for the week. For me, it's going to be a buy for the week for me. Then GBP USD also. Anything that has to do with the dollar, we have to go against the dollar since the dollar is what? Weak. Since the dollar is what? Weak. So we'll look at what? Going against the dollar. All right. So we'll look at going against the dollar. Since from the daily time frame, we can see that the market has actually done what? Violated this low, giving us a lower low. So now this is our range. So we will now have impulse correction. Then the next one should be an impulse going to the downside. All right. So US dollar is going to be weak. Then Euro USD is a buy. Let's mainly look at Euro USD and see how we can maximize the move from it. All right. Let's mainly look at what we can do from Euro USD. Okay, so Euro USD, we have all of our confluences in place. We have our counter trend line from the daily time frame. All right. We have a move going back to the upside that has exceeded what? That has exceeded the previous lower high, giving us a higher high. So we now have all of these moves. So we need this price to keep going back to the upside. This is to tell us that we're going to trade against the US dollar. All right. So please, if you have questions on how I'm breaking all of these things down, you can ask your questions and I will do the much that I can do to make sure I bring it into light for you to understand what I am actually doing. Okay. So if you have your questions, don't hesitate to ask your questions and I will be right there to answer them. All right. So I don't want to do too much today. I just want us to just look at the US dollar and the Euro USD so we can maximize our move from there. All right. So analysis shows that the US dollar is going to be what? Weak. Okay. So right now, I don't see any reason why this market should go back to the upside. I just see reasons why the market should keep going back to the downside. All right. So that's what I am saying. I just see reasons why the market should keep going back to the downside. All right. So if you have any questions, do ask your questions and you will be answered definitely. Okay. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for this wonderful class, and we'll see again next week or over the weekend where I'm going to drop another. Yeah, so we have a video to drop for this week about economics when we're looking at economics. So we'll drop that later this week. So thank you very much for your help, your subscription, your comments, and we'll see come 2024 how we're going to help a whole lot of persons on how to navigate the forex market. So peace out.